RivaL's had a little bit of struggles at 2-2 right now, but a win would put them right there with energy at 3-2, and certainly it's in the cards. They're up against mousesports, and another one of those matches where on paper RivaL is supposed to be the top team over Mouse. I would say, you know, they're certainly expected to win. They are, you know, the spring winners. They still struggled a bit there in summer. You definitely expect that from them, but we'll see if they can keep that going here. Mouse is a team I think's on the rise, so RivaL has to make sure they're all on the same page.
Similar story to how Energy versus SK historically goes to Energy. Same thing goes with between RivaL and Mouse. Between spring and summer, RivaL have yet to lose even a single game up against mousesports, and that's obviously with them, you know, changing their supports from time to time. It was Who the Best, it was Badja as well, and then going into now going for a different kind of a style. That's something of SK now.
Yeah, absolutely. Oops. Yeah, SK, you know, had a little bit of that swatch up, but so did Mouse as well. You know, they had Jermaine in there. They really swapped him out too, so Mouse has certainly had some different looks. But RivaL, for me, right now, they're so reliant, I feel like, on Ice in the jungle for them, right? They've been able to play through Deathwalker and Wlfy before, but I feel like at least here in fall and summer, Ice and Kalish really have elevated their play. They played so much through those two. Are they going to be able to keep doing that here up against Mouse? Because Cherryo is kind of Mouse's big playthrough point as well for Mouse.
You hit the nail right on the head, Finch. It's the battle of the junglers. iceicebaby up against the Guardian-favored Cherryo. Sometimes we'll whoop out the Naja and the Han Bats, but hey, even with the nerfs, Adapting was rocking the Naja in game number 1.
That's
even
true.
had it, I think, banned in game number 2, so we could still see some action from Cherryo.
Yeah, I don't think there's any reason why he wouldn't still be able to pull it out. I agree, it's not nearly as strong, you know, as it used to be, but these sorts of things are still right there, right? The setup for the follow-up is absolutely still going to be there for it, that mobility in the jungle, so there's no reason Cherryo can't play it. And it's not just him. We're seeing Dardez here. He has that eclectic god pool. He's had that sort of revision since their roster swap as well. Now he is able to, I feel like, play to his full potential, rotate around the map often, play off-the-wall picks, and get Mouse into the best position to win as well.
Difficult to lock down the direction Mouse are going for during picks and bans simply because of Dardez with that flexibility. Assassin, Mage, Guardian, Warrior. Where is he going? No one knows except Dardez.
Well, you'll know once those picks and bans are done and you're actually in the game. You'll know until then. So let's go ahead and get those picks and bans here and see exactly where these two teams are going to be going. And it will be RivaL as your first pick selection here. And we'll see if they prioritize some of the newer stuff we're coming in. We haven't seen really those auto attack warriors the way we thought we would with Berserkers. There's been a little bit more kind of a hangover from 5.15. So we'll see if that's going to be here in this set as well, or if RivaL want to give maybe an Osiris or Bellona over there to Deathwalker.
I'm thinking if there's a Freya ever on the table, you got to lock in the Bellona for the Scourge.
I'm thinking too,
to be able to synergize with the Berserker shield. But at the end of the day, there's still some other options if you want to play it a little safer, to go for the Kakolins of the world, going for even some Guardian control action, whether it's Athena, whether it's going to be the Sobek as well. A lot of crowd
really
control in these team fights. I'm always excited to see potentially a Ymir. Even going to see some mages between Chang'e and the Baron. And that's why I think we're not seeing some of these warriors between Osiris and Bellona quite yet. But give it some time, Finch.
And look at this. I mean, we can't overstate Dardez's impact enough. That's got to be a Dardez Nox ban, right?
Yep.
All over it. So already earning that here in the ban phase up against RivaL, and they will indeed snap in that Freya with the first pick. That does mean there's still some strong options available, but Chernobog and Naja have already been taken away.
A lot of burst damage, so Mao's going to need to find a way to isolate the Freya away from the action. That's the way you shut her down, just to be able to control her. Whether or not you kill her, you have to force a premature ultimate and then just get her away.
Try and make sure that you can limit her impact. As Serqet and Ram come in, this can be strong up against Freya. Ram has the chance to hit her with that ultimate once she comes back down from Valkyrie's discretion if she's on her way out. Serqet can also dive back there and cause her some problems, but Erlang Shen coming through. This could be solo or jungle. Erlang Shen is definitely, I feel like, risen now.
Between iceicebaby, we've seen him play before, but this feels like a Deathwalker god.
It kind of feels like that, doesn't
wants
it?
to win the solo lane whenever he can. And
oh, man.
And a Bellona.
It's time, totally. Let's go. It's going to be Erlang, Shen, and Bellona coming through. So Bellona, that's going to be going to Deathwalker, I'm thinking. Yeah. Maybe.
We're still not sure, Finch. I think Bellona can still be played by iceicebaby, but what I can be sure is that wherever these two gods go, between Erlang, Shen, and the Bellona, they will collectively start invading these blue buffs.
I think that's going to be the case. And I wouldn't be surprised if we see Berserker shields potentially on both of them. They can both make such excellent use out of both those items. But Mouse, gonna have a Morrigan selection for themselves in response. So we've seen this build come up a little bit more, right? The Mouse build, where she's getting that extra movement speed. She's zipping around through those jungles trying to loop around on people.
Double Serqet action. It's going to be great for Mouse, not so much for RivaL, especially if your name is Wlfy in the mid lane playing the Freya, where it's just probably going to go. The last breath alone is good enough to maybe even kill the Freya during Valkyrie's discretion.
Absolutely.
Dots are still applied, and once you're in the sky, you're still not safe from them.
You could still end up falling up there as Mouse turn their eye towards the duo lane. Jingwei and Fafnir get banned out. I like the Fafnir ban. It's a Kala special. He loves to play it. Another Hunter pair with Freya that Chorus could certainly get some value. I think Mouse doing a good job here with that second phase.
But with Sylvanus locked in means that should be going for Dardez. No real question marks now any longer. I think that the Serqet should be going for Cherryo. Morrigan more than likely going for BigManTingz. Cupid selection. The cripple, not a bad idea. Shuts down both escapes out of Serqet.
Cupid should be able to get a good bit of damage, and if he can land those heart bombs, that's going to be key. And Geb coming through. About as old school a lane as you could ask for, I feel like, between a Cupid and a Geb, right? Those are...
Well, Cupid Sobek is
as
old as time.
That's truly it, right? But it certainly can still get it done between these two, right? I mean, the Fields of Love, the Cataclysm, the Shockwave, that's a ton of control at their disposal. The burst is pretty high as well. But Sobek coming in provides plenty of disruption.
A lot of control, I'd say, between those two Guardians. It's going to be dependent about which team has the vision control to find these picks. The double pull between Sylvanus pull and the Sobek pluck should allow mousesports some pick potential, so RivaL going to have to be on their game with the counter wards.
Now, who do you think's going to win this game? Go ahead and let us know in that poll. I kind of like Sobek here. If they feel like up against either one of these warriors, they might just lose the lane, Sobek maybe can go like Guardian's Blessing and be okay with that, right? He can heal up with Sickening Strike. That might be good into one of those tough matches.
Just expect to never get a blue buff throughout the remainder of the game.
That's true. That's almost certainly going to be getting stripped away, but we have to speculate no longer. Let's go ahead and move into the action. RivaL going to be going up against Mouse. Game 1, let's get it underway.
Thank you so much, Vincentoli. Myself and FDO will be joining you for this RivaL versus mousesports best of 3. What are you giggling at?
Your picture up there is pretty funny.
Okay, that's how we're going to begin the cast? Is that how it's going to start today?
I look charismatic. You just look like you're eating.
Could say a lot of things there. I've changed my mind about it. Cupid Geb in the duo lane is going to be something that we've not seen in a hot minute, first of all. I mean, Cupid's been back in fashion a little bit for Funballer, but nobody else. Against this comp, though, after I do really like it.
Yeah, I think Cupid, we've seen the Cupid come out in the hands of Funball a number of times. 2 times so far, and both he's been very successful despite his team earning a loss. And there, oh wow, this is actually big damage at level 1. Spudio in trouble. He's going to be able to hang on to it.
Good play from Callus there, actually. For a second, I'm like, he could probably get the kill, but he's not got sprint to continue the chase, and that minion wave will cause some problems. They could have potentially used the shell, but a heart bomb won't be enough this time round, but it's keeping the pressure off a little bit and stopping mousesports invading the purple.
So when Kieran, or Funball, excuse me, picks up the Cupid, it's just because he's pretty good at Cupid. He's it's one of his weird pocket picks. Vote selection of Cupid here, I'm a big fan of. So Cupid is a classic sort of counter pick to what Ram wants to do. He goes up in the sky. If you force him up into the sky, you can just put Fields of Love underneath him, and he has to take the damage. The roll isn't long enough for the, what is it, not the radius, but the pi distance.
Yeah.
You know? And so that's trouble for Spudio. Also, going to shut down Cherryo's options as well.
Cherryo,
even Nika to a certain extent.
Even BigManTingz with the stealth, I mean, it's going to help to cause a lot of problems. There is a cripple field with the Fields of Love, and generally used for initiation is one of the reasons you don't see Cupid too much, because it's an initiating ability. But it does a good amount of control, will force some beads a couple times here, and someone like Sylvanus could be in trouble, but it actually is Vote. He's going to get a very nice shield out of Callus early on to prevent some of that incoming damage, but Vote very low, as is Nika.
DW over here, earning his control of the short side lane, and just going back to the Cupid one more time. I think the reason we don't see him all that much is because the damage is so heavily weighed on the heart bomb that if you do miss the heart bomb, you're just half of a hunter at that point. Whereas other characters, you can have a little bit of wiggle room with your accuracy.
Yeah.
But the efficiency of the ultimate and just how good it is, I mean, I would like to see Cupid in the position of Medusas a lot of the time. That teamfight prowess is really interesting, but as I said, you could miss Acid Spray and still have Viper shots and your basics and wiggle out. If Vote, I mean, you don't land your Heart Bomb, what are you doing?
That's pretty fair, and that's one thing, the Heart Bomb is there as a threat more than anything else. Once it's on cooldown, there's a nice little window to get aggressive against the Cupid a little bit more so, especially in the laning phases. It's this really big poke potential, but you'd like to use it for clear, and that's one of the reasons you don't see many Cupids, is its clear's a little bit lackluster if you don't use the Heart Bombs for it, but then you take away the threat.
So I've seen a lot of... I expected to see more Cupid after the change, which actually happened a while ago, on his dash, where he just gets flat attack speed. That is such a big deal, and we still don't see a lot of
It's
Cupid.
not just that, though. I mean, the hearts as well, they don't get consumed anymore through the passive, which it used to. Now you can stay at max stacks, continue sustaining in terms of mana for yourself if you let another teammate heal, or heals for your teammate too. And on top of that, you know, it doesn't consume your passive, which means you've got it for the Heart Bomb or the ultimate, which a lot of people always don't take into account.
Yeah. Having that change to the hard stun, certainly a nice look there.
Book of Thoth being worked on for both Wlfy and BigManTingz, sort of the go-to for mid laners now. Both blessings for warriors and, of course, for the mid lane mages. I start to see a little bit of a downtrend now as we see Deathwalker going for that Berserker shield, but it's Cherryo with the first signs of aggression today with his first gank attempt. Going to get the ultimate out of Wlfy. No beads consumed, however.
Interesting interaction there. You saw Wlfy was able to get away from the CC component. Not really that Cherryo or Serqet CCs you during the ultimate, but she sort of rides on top. As Freya goes to the sky, he's just able to escape that element of the ability, but still takes the damage. So Wlfy gets away from some of it, but not all of it. Cherryo, empty-handed though.
Well, this time around, this is the fall split, so both these teams competing to get towards Worlds. mousesports have a couple of members who made it to Worlds last year as underdogs. Let's put that into a place there. It was Dignitas that kind of failed, but here's BigManTingz under a lot of pressure with the Morrigan. Beautiful transformation at the exact time required to ult in to become Cherryo, to disappear back out of the engagement. Deathwalker with a beautiful rotation.
You know, BigManTingz continues to surprise me and impress me, and I think I'm just becoming less and less surprised and more, yeah, okay.
You know what it was? I think it was because he came in as a support, and you watched the support and went, he's okay.
Good enough.
Yeah, he'll do. You know what I mean? But he never really shone enough. And when he moved to the mid lane, I'm like, well, we're just going to get more of that, I expect. But I think he's definitely a better mid laner than a support. Just the way it is.
As simply, yes, extremely. And I think he's a much better mid laner than he was a support. He came out of the mid lane and really just impressed me from the get-go. But also sort of from the analytical position, every single set. You can go home and watch every single set from where BigManTingz has played, and he improves. You watch him make a mistake, and I'm not saying he never makes that mistake again, but he is marginally better at that scenario, game 2, game 3, game 4, and he just pockets it. He's got a large god pool at this point in time, and I think the Morrigan now coming more into the spotlight as more and more players are willing to really take the chance and bring it to the battlefield. BMT here, this is sort of like, I won't say the last test, but this is certainly one of the big trimester exams, because the Morrigan is not only mid lane prowess, but also who are you going to transform into? It's so big. And I think BigManTingz, this is just another thing that he's going to impress me with.
The left-hand side, you saw the invade from Wlfy and RivaL onto the red buff earlier on. Just keeping that pressure going where possible at the moment. Cherryo has his ultimate back up and available again, so keep an eye out for the aggression there. RivaL, though, definitely focus on team fights. This composition is going to come together beautifully in the mid-game when they start to group up as 5.
The only one really made to pick off players is Wlfy. iceicebaby with the side of short, the Erlang Shen in the jungle. I mean, this is a facilitation pick. Deathwalker with the Bellona, again, a facilitation pick. And what Collis is doing, I mean, Geb, as classic as it comes, he's going to look to protect Wlfy. Vote, even on the Hunter, is a team fight Hunter. Team RivaL have recently, in the past couple of weeks, including the summer split, have gotten in line with this give iceicebaby the ball and let him run to the end zone. Now, it's a return to RivaL looking for these team fights.
Well, Berserker Shield is in the game. We've been expecting to see it a little bit on Bellona and Osiris, and this is Deathwalker showing how strong it can be in the laning phase. Just sitting in Scourge for me the entire time. I'm guessing he's maxing that ability too, actually, because he gets attack speed from this alongside Ninja Tabby, and there you go. Scourge is being maxed at the moment. So he's getting sustain because of Scourge, and then again because of Berserker Shield.
Yeah, the Bellona being extraordinary with this item, was no surprise to really anybody. I think that's also why we see Ice in the Erlang Shen. He also can use this new item, which is very interesting to a lot of players. So Deathwalker, I think, is going to make the most out of it because of the double up on the sustain with the Scourge, like you mentioned. iceicebaby also going to be able to do so, but you know, there was a big question on Esports Weekly about would we see more?
Yeah.
Would we see more? Would we see these characters? And I was sitting there on the couch. I was like, hey, we already see Osiris and Bellona. Of course we're going to see them. This is going to push Bellona more to the forefront, and you got to be aware of the Scourge.
I think that's the key is, like, yeah, they weren't available in the meta. They weren't picked as often, though. Some of the Guardians were running the roost of the dual lane a little bit more. Cullen was probably the biggest claim to fame over here. But now, Osiris, Bellona being back means it's a bit more of a tussle, and people like Sobek will struggle a little bit against this.
A little bit is putting it nicely, I think, because Sobek forced back to base already.
Ward here. There's already a ward down the left-hand side that RivaL are aware of. Vote knows exactly where Cherryo is. Actually baiting him in with the Fields of Love, but the juke out is good. And now
but he
Cherryo
catches the dash and Vote. He's going to be toasted. But what about after the fact?
After the fact, it's Cherryo that'll fall down in trade. It was a good play from iceicebaby and Callus to turn that around at the end of the day. Vote knew that was coming, and Vote went for the big-time 2v1. It ends up being a 1v1 thanks to the rotation. I love that Cherryo just walked out and went, okay, I'm still fine.
Yep. Yeah, no, Vote, that's Vote's win as long as Cherryo doesn't do the one specific hard-to-do thing, which is catch the Cupid dash with the throwing stars. And Cherryo caught the Cupid dash with the throwing stars. So, Vote was worm food. But if Cherryo misses the taunt right there, I mean, Vote's absolutely perfectly fine. Another boon to Cupid is that his dash is the size of an American football field, so it's not that big of a deal here. But Cherryo says, no, you're getting to the 10-yard line. Sorry, homie. Cuts him down and is able to get the win. So a nice play there from Mouse's jungle, but RivaL do answer back, and they're able to take care of Cherryo after the fact, like you mentioned.
Problem is, the decision from Vote there is kind of put him in a deficit in the laning phase now because Spudio got the kill. So he got the bonus gold, and he got a bit more experience because of it too. We'll see if Spudio can continue to convert that, though, thanks to the gank, as it was iceicebaby in the jungle that picked it up for RivaL, though. So, you know, a trade across.
Cherryo now going to get blinked on, knocked up. Nice control from Ice. That really was excellent, because that was Wlfy. That wasn't a planned opportunity as Wlfy pulled onto the tower.
Wlfy in response straight away just takes to the air, so ultimate consume there. If iceicebaby had his ultimate on that blink engage, which was used in the dual lane, they should have been able to find the kill on Cherryo there.
Yeah, but still, I give a lot of credit to Ice there.
Yeah,
Wlfy, that call didn't come, hey, I'm looking for it, I'm going for it, I've got him. That was, oh, expletive, I've got the whoop. And Ice, who's walking into the jungle, turns left, blinks, and finds a knock-up. I mean, that was just really immediate reaction from Ice, and I like to see that.
One thing I'm interested in is how the builds go as well, especially around these Berserker shields, and you can see exactly that Deathwalker at the moment. Gonna go for some magical defense, no real surprise when he's gonna be up against 3 magicals on the enemy team, whereas iceicebaby, more attack speed is coming here.
I like the build coming out from Cherryo as he dashes away and, you know,
Bloodfall straight away.
Yeah, just to completely change what you were talking about, but stay in the item world.
Yeah.
Cherryo here, he's telling us from Boots, yo, I'm gonna be utility. The beat stick right here is going to cut down some of the sustain that we see across the way. He's got speed boots to traverse all across the map. Serqet doesn't necessarily need a lot of power. That's why we saw a lot of Serqet supports once upon a time. So Cherryo can afford to go into the speed boots, can afford to go in 40-15, 40-20, not really anything to be sad about on the beat stick, talking about power and penetration respectively, but it's not a shifter shield, it's not a giant item. You don't need it to be. Cherryo is looking for the utility approach right now.
Cherryo's going to take away the blue buff on the right-hand side, give that over to Nika, making sure Deathwalker can't invade, but the left-hand side, iceicebaby on an adventure, not for ganks, just ward clearing so far, even though still pretty good vision from Mouse, if in all fairness.
And this is RivaL, exactly. Ooh. This is RivaL sort of setting the table to do the gold Fury. iceicebaby is going into a harsh attack speed build, which is going to allow him to shred the objectives.
Fields of Love goes down, Dardez ults in response, but the Fields of Love detonates, and Wlfy picks up the kill. Callus getting relatively low, but BigManTingz gets in and out.
BigManTingz was caught mid-invisibility. Big play coming out by Cherryo right there to chase out the Morrigan.
Pop goes the Callus. And it's a 2-for-2 then as Cherryo does end up getting the kill off the back of that, but Gold Fury's still alive.
And that's the biggest point if you're a fan of, honestly, either of these teams. The rival going to start it back up, and mousesports none the wiser. No, Cherryo hears about it.
Has no blink. He's just going to have to take this on straight up. He has no ultimate either. Gold Fury still getting low. iceicebaby still going at it. Now Vote comes around the corner, and Cherryo has hung around too long, waiting for the opportunity to get in. Instead, he's going to pay with his life to Deathwalker, and that rally, and the Gold Fury falls too.
I liked the idea there, but Cherryo just waited too long, and Spudio didn't assist. Clearly, there was a call not to assist, but oh man, that was just rough.
It was a weird dance because I think RivaL did the right thing. I say sticking to the Gold Fury, leaving Wlfy to like zone off a little bit.
Yeah,
Cherryo.
exactly.
And then finally, Vote made the rotation too, and that just ended it there. So it's a bit of a gold lead just thanks to that Gold Fury going to RivaL. Take into account mousesports did get the first blood, which is a bit more of a bounty to kind of even things up.
RivaL did a really interesting thing, and I'm going to compare it to the only thing I know I can. Marching band. They did a fan rotate where everybody sort of stays in the same position but moves counterclockwise. So you had one player move to the north and then the player from the south joined up on that Gold Fury. And because they did it in synchronization, there really wasn't an open window for mousesports to take advantage of. If RivaL did that one by one, if Wlfy walks by himself and Vote comes around the right-hand side, they don't have that opportunity.
Oh, Pyro's getting low quick. Nika, though, just showing presence is enough. Callus being busy with Cherryo for a second, but it's Nika surrounded by 4 now. No real full CC chain to keep him pinned in place, and it's going to force a reset for now. Pyro heals up, and Spudio has a bit of pressure in left and making this rotation towards mid.
Nika made a big impact there, or Nika did something there that might not have had a huge impact in the moment, but will as the fights go on and on. He disrupted Deathwalker's bludgeon, and he's going to look to do that the entirety of these team fights. It's a huge burst of damage that comes out of the solo laner that you're really not anticipating. You're anticipating because everybody knows what Bellona does, but your tanky solo laner is not supposed to do that damage. And so here Nika doesn't care, but in those team fights, Nika's going to save his tail whip for that bludgeon almost every single time.
Junglers are now level 12, supports catching up as they will do. Is that Atlanta's bow for iceicebaby? It looks like it is to go with that Berserker Shield and the Ninja Tabby. So attack speed is the forefront of iceicebaby's day right now. As the Pyromancer looks at again for a moment, Cherryo pinned and jumps away to safety after the banish comes out. Danger averted.
Atalanta's bow, not an item we see purchased all the time, but an item that I actually really enjoy.
It kept getting buffed though,
It
so
really
like
did.
eventually someone's gonna have to get it because it's like, okay, we can't avoid it anymore.
It's pseudo fatalis, but left side, Cherryo getting very real ulted.
One auto could have been enough, but Spudio ate it for him to make sure Cherryo could get out. Beads were down for Cherryo there, by the way, so they weren't consumed, but Vote's ult was.
So my point there before, talking about where the players were going, is going to be mid lane.
Just keep the pressure going all the time. Callus gonna try and front load this a little bit more, so iceicebaby here too to start chopping away. Cherryo and BigManTingz at half health here, so this is gonna be a free tower. Neither wants to contest, and even Nika uses lurking the waters on the right hand side, surprises me.
Yeah, I think he was anticipating a little bit more action.
I think Deathwalker heard it though, and I think that's one of the reasons they're going to power the Pyromancer too. Knowing BigManTingz and Cherryo were at half, Bigman had to base, but just the threat of Dardez and Nika being around is enough to subvert RivaL for the moment.
Yeah, Nika with a misplay there, but it won't affect him too much. Dardez just, doing the Dardez thing, showing players that he can grab them.
But it's scary when you do that, especially when you're pulling, you're like, yeah, be scared. Oh no, no one's around me, and you realize that? I think Freya and Geb, if they would have known the situation they're in with a bit better wall coverage at the time, that could have been a free kill onto poor old Sylvanus there.
Dardez has very quickly become my favorite support to watch here in Season 5. Just absolutely a lot of fun. His team honestly doesn't wind up with the victories, and maybe that's part of it. I think everybody likes to root for an underdog, but Dardez is such a talented player. His ability to play different types of characters. He was the first one to bring the weird stuff like the Nox and the Agni, and when it doesn't work, he leaves it home. I don't think we've seen Agni twice, but the Nox has been a staple pick of Dardez before everybody was playing weird stuff. He's willing to be creative. He's also willing to play the old faithfuls.
Mechanically gifted support is
That
what I would
too.
choose. And it's not often you get to say that about support players. They're definitely there in terms of seeing the bigger picture is what supports really are and protecting the others. But mechanics isn't always seen as the be-all and end-all. Although Callus and Dardez in the game are two players that definitely stand the test of time when it comes into that.
Yeah, absolutely. Dardez, a little bit more flair to his gameplay, and I think once Jermaine left his lane, he was sort of able. He was always under the Bruise Brother moniker. Now he's able to sort of make a name for himself, and I think he's become much better than the team that he plays for. And I'm very curious to see if this team sticks together or where he winds up in Season 6.
I mean, mousesports, last year, it's a completely different roster when you think about it. It's just Cherryo and Dardez that have superseded and existed from last year who made the World Championships. So basically 3 roster changes this year for that team that managed to make that run. But they're still here trying to do it again, and you can't count them out just yet. This Wlfy, though, very telling.
Team RivaL going to start it up. Nika dashes forward, doesn't really find much of anything. Deathwalker going to try to provide some damage. And Cherryo on the right trying to deal with Callus. But DW going on the left.
He catches 3, forces Dardez to ult in response. Dragon in the air is there for pyrotechnics more than anything else. As Cherryo eats a bludgeon and a shield smashed to the back of his head.
Deathwalker just running through this team fight. Wlfy gets one. It's a 2-for-1 so far. And Team RivaL now looking for the disengage and the objective. mousesports, though, they're dueling extremely healthy. Spudio doesn't have the ultimate, but he's certainly ready to go.
There is no ultimates left in this fight. Double banish from Wlfy into the pin. Knock up Dardez. 2-shot. Bludgeon will help bring him low enough for Wlfy to get the kill. And Wlfy is back on the menu again, boys.
BigManTingz is invisible right now. Could get a double stun if he's crafty about it. Spudio here. Leave, boys. Leave. Team RivaL have gotten the Gold Fury, and mousesports just look on and watch.
It's kind of a weird situation because mousesports kind of funneled through 2 entrances at the same time. Callus blinks and ults on one, and Deathwalker engages on the other. All the CC on one side, all the CC on the other. mousesports have to turn tail and get picked apart is basically what happened.
Yeah, that was pretty troublesome. Deathwalker did a lot of damage in that team fight. He's top player damage overall, and a big part of that came from the bludgeon. Don't forget, the aspect of the bludgeon, when you do the sweep, however many gods you hit will amplify the damage done. So when Deathwalker's in the middle of everybody, he's thankful, and he's just slamming it.
This fire giant's a little bit risky. The banish hitting Nika would have preferred Cherryo there, in all honesty, if they could have. So Deathwalker is going to give a couple of love taps towards Nika and fend him off for a second as the fire giant is forced to be reset.
Love the itemization from mousesports here as well. Nika building into the Midgardian Mail and his jungler building into the Witchblade. Team RivaL is heavily about attack speed, and mousesports looking to cut it down.
Take into account as well, now this is a 5-man group, and this is where we expected RivaL to really shine as a composition. Cherryo, gonna try and flank.
Oh, the blink! Callus goes for the initiation! That's gonna be a big man dunk! iceicebaby takes down Spudio! DW, after making it happen, takes down the support, and it's 3 players remaining for mousesports, and RivaL have him right in the crosshairs.
But Nika does manage to get one. Cherryo getting low. The
Dardez
bludgeon will get the kill for Deathwalker. Callus still alive at the back, and Nika surrounded by creeps. BigManTingz surrounded by players. 10-4. Nika alone. Great damage onto Vote. And he could look for the cleanup if he can, but he's just going to get poked all the way down. Nika delaying here is good to allow respawns to potentially come through, but eventually he will fall down.
Look, I know I yelled out Dardez because of the ridiculous pull onto Deathwalker, but it was BigManTingz.
Yep.
And again, that's just him going, all right, I remember how to play Sylvanus, I guess I'll do it. But that was, not only did he find the pull through the wall, but he pulled the right player. Just a little bit too late there for mousesports. Beautiful initiation by Deathwalker. That's really what made this team fight. Callus goes in with the first initiation to lock 3 players down with the ultimate, and then DW over the top gets a 2-man stun and drops the banner. And because of the field, everybody fighting in it from Team RivaL just amped and ready to go.
Absolutely worked out perfectly, though. Take into account, mousesports were going to wrap around the back. You had Cherryo just slowly slinking through the jungle. And just as he was about to get in position, blink, initiate, RivaL, take the team fight, take the fire giant, and now they get to look at the towers as well.
That was woof. Woof. That was, like you said, Mouse were lining up for a really good team fight. And if Callus had held the blink for 2.5 to 3 seconds, they lose the team fight, and mousesports are the ones with Fire Giant.
Would have definitely
right
been a different story, that's for sure.
I don't know if they win the team fight, but they certainly don't get wiped like that. And Team RivaL don't have that easy of a time. But beautiful timing between the support and the secondary support in the solo lane, and Team RivaL just wind up just with everything they wanted.
This comp from RivaL, though, I mentioned it looks like a death ball. It is a death ball at this point. With the Fire Giant around all 5 members, Waste 2, Deathwalker easy to tank this up at level 20, especially with shields coming out from Callus too. mousesports recognizing that defending these towers, it's going to be a little bit awkward. If they can find a pick, though, it could help them at slowing down RivaL's aggression.
Now is what they need to do. RivaL got cocky and split up 3 and 2, but it doesn't seem to matter. RivaL found a great time to disengage. mousesports were not as aggressive as they needed to be.
All in on Wlfy, and Wlfy goes down. Fields of Love zones mousesports back towards Deathwalker, who's still tanking it up, but
nice
a good
move.
pluck is going to slow Deathwalker down from getting away. The run is on. Spudio shots are good, but Callus's shield is better.
Hit the NOS bottles right now. mousesports need to chase down Team RivaL. This is one of the better opportunities that they're going to have, but the call is to retreat.
They can't do more. Fire Giant, Tom. I mean, they're going to have the regen coming through. Deathwalker's low and Callus, sure. But iceicebaby vote at full health, still having the relics available. It's too risky. You're just going to hold on and wait for the Fire Giant to succeed.
I would have liked to see the chase down. I think if you can chase down, because everybody split off initially, you had 3 players running down mid. If 4 mouse collapse on a 3, you can at least get 2 players.
Look how confident they are, though. RivaL still happy to go in a 4v5 at this tier 2. BigManTingz on the left, stealthing through towards iceicebaby. He's going to make sure he gets running. They've actually given Big Man the speed buff now as well to make sure that mobility is even higher.
I think that's the right move. BigManTingz, just the ability to get all throughout the team fight and really navigate, because really the key is for BigManTingz to go invisible, make himself not able to be seen, and then find his way to the back line.
Just so you know.
Oh, is it?
It is.
No, I thought invisible was when you couldn't be damaged.
That's low-key. Wlfy is going to go down this left-hand side too. The Fire Giant is going to wear off in about a minute's time. And maybe they can sneak a tier 2 here as well. Cooldown's back up, ultimate's available. Yep, RivaL going to start to pressure. But a quick pause coming through from mousesports here.
Yeah, it should be an interesting time. mousesports going to collect and reignite what they had in that mid-game. I saw some interesting moments, Graham, but just not enough to really seal the deal here.
No, and that's the awkwardness for mousesports here. I think their composition was pretty solid on paper. There's nothing too crazy about it. But they should have known these Berserkers' shields were going to come through.
Yeah.
And I know they're going to start to cause a couple of problems. We'll see if that factors in a little bit more. So Deathwalker got such a big lead in this lane where Cherryo wasn't really looking towards it at all throughout the game.
Sure.
And Nika's just had to sit there and be like, okay, I'm stalemating the best I can, but I'm not going to kill him. I'm not going to force him back to base on his terms. It's always going to be on his terms.
Well, Tier 1 tower will fall down, as will the Tier 2 tower. So mousesports with a nice 10,000 gold deficit here, as RivaL just taking care of business.
I know.
Working overtime.
Just slowly and methodically taking things down. Only a tier 2 on the right-hand side remains, and the Phoenix is 2. I'm also looking at Mouse's comp on defense, because when it gets to this point of a game, you kind of turn around, you look down your roster and go, okay, who's going to clear the waves?
Not my favorite.
And then when you look at their comp, Morrigan.
Yeah.
Rama.
Not my favorite defensive composition. I hate Serqet from a defensive standpoint. I think if you are looking to blink on the back line as the aggressor, Cherryo's pick is wonderful, but when you're on your back foot, Serqet is not my favorite character. Ram, not my favorite character. I do like Nika. I think that lurking in the waters does dissuade players from getting into a deep area in these objectives, but he's pretty much the one I'm looking at next to Dardez.
You got Blink Pluck, right? Dardez, if he had Blink, he could try and go for a defensive play, look for the Blink initiation the right sort of time. Instead, they have to allow RivaL to get onto them before Cherryo can even get involved.
Dardez should not be looking for the initiation because of the fact that Deathwalker
baby bursted in the jungle here. He's going to get the heal up in time. Meanwhile, though, on the backside, Deathwalker took a lot of damage. The tier 2 pulls, but look how much health Cherryo lost off that one auto from Wlfy. Nika's still giving chase. Cherryo and BigManTingz in the jungle try to run down RivaL, who've overextended. Votes on the front line. Big old shields for him, though.
Cherryo gets dropped down to 1 HP. He'll find an exit upstage north. Wlfy in trouble. Deathwalker on his last breath, but mousesports still pushing forward. Wlfy gonna land. He gets the whoop, but BigManTingz gives him the scoop.
Fire Giant is available, but the low health members of mousesports can be a little bit worried about going for it here. We could see Dardez tank it up and Spudio get some sustain, but RivaL is still hanging around because they know that's what could be happening. Instead, mousesports realize it themselves like, nope, 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 nope. We win the fight, we defended. Let's get ready for the next Fire Giant, which they could actually go for now, knowing Wlfy's down for another 30 seconds.
Exactly. mousesports retreating there was a very intelligent call. I got very nervous as I saw them stick around. They might have been able to win an ambush around the corner, but even that really wasn't guaranteed.
It's kind of one of those things of learn from mistakes, because I kind of looked at them and went, well, I'm going to see the throw here now. Like, I expect RivaL to win coming into this set against Mouse, and you're like, where's the throw going to be? There it is, right now when they go for the Fire Giant, but they didn't. Now they have a chance to start it up. Down to 80% already. Deathwalker, Callus on the front line with iceicebaby and Boat modeling through as well. A lot of relics on cooldown from both sides here. As Fire Giant is reset, Cherryo took way more damage than bargain for, but left alone with iceicebaby.
He's going to find the ultimate, but Cherryo could fall if he keeps the fight up. Vote with a beautiful ultimate of his own, but Deathwalker surrounded by mouse jerseys. BMT on the back line is in trouble. iceicebaby going to find him. Invisibility, not good enough. He tried to go into Freya, but the Valkyrie said no, and Deathwalker puts him in the ground.
Now it's a 4v5 in RivaL's sake. Left-hand side, Phoenix is also falling to minions here, and Nika and Dardez the only two here to try and contest. They're not even going to. They're going to fall back to Phoenix's, and it's going to be a tough time now. They had a window, man, at that tier 2. They had it, they found it, and Mouse just couldn't capitalize after the fact.
Yeah, it's two moments where Mouse really weren't able to find the opportunity that they were given. And now, because of it, Mouse on the back foot have to defend. Luckily, left side Phoenix still alive.
It is alive for now, but those minions pushed out enough for the timing. Just takes one member of this team to head over that side for a second. I'd like to see Deathwalker go there. He's got TP to get back to the action if he needs to. And on top of that, I don't think anyone on that team can 1v1 him. Blink initiation from Callus. Spudio's beads on cooldown. Nika removed from the map. Dardez still trying to frontline, has his ultimate available, but he's knocked up for a second. Then gets his ultimate off, but still getting beat down by DW. Towards the fountain runs Dardez, as does BigManTingz. The fountain wasn't even looked at by the team. They were hunting for kills, making sure Cherryo's in check. Phoenix does fall, and there's only one on the left and one in the middle left to look at.
Cherryo trying to hide himself, but Deathwalker sees him right on through. Big DW going to be the one tanking up the Phoenix. Mouse trying to play defense. Cherryo on the right-hand side, but this bird is toasted.
He's not even playing defense. He's watching the other team play offense. Is what's kind of happening now. This Phoenix already weakened. Callus will tank this one up. Dardez, BigManTingz, the only two still alive on this left-hand side to defend, but they can't stop the murder ball of RivaL from taking that too.
All three Phoenixes now down for the count. Team RivaL up above 10,000 gold. Very much so.
Is it a conversation that you should be having in picks and bans at this day and age of, if we get behind, should we have somebody for clear or for better clear at defense?
I think it's less about clear and more about overall defensive prowess, right? And I look at characters like Apwash, I look at characters like Sobek, I look at characters like Zeus that can drop that would I set it and forget it. Can you deny a zone for a period of time, right? And mousesports, like we said, they've got that in Sobek, and to a lesser extent, they have that in Dardez, but it's problematic. And of course, the Morrigan is going to be the Morrigan.
Sure.
But this is not a defensive team. Whereas, let's say things are reversed and RivaL are the one playing defense. Okay, Vote drops his giant ultimate and nobody can walk into it. That takes time. Callus ults a bunch of players. That takes time. Deathwalker drops his giant ultimate. And that's 50, that's what, 35 protections, 50 power. You can't fight into that either. So Team RivaL have a lot of options to say, you can't walk in this general area. Mousesports don't. And to your original question, do I think that's something you've got to be thinking about in picks and bans? Absolutely. It's not the end-all be-all, because if things go right in your game, you ain't playing hard defense.
Cherryo goes in on Wlfy, but already he's bursted down before he got the full ultimate off. Wlfy, though, has to Aegis. The poison runs out. He takes the sky in time as Tingz was looking to clean him up. But in the end, Tingz isn't going to die. Nika blinks in for Vote, but gets banished. Blink ultimates out in response to make sure Vote gets out. On the backside, Deathwalker's fighting too.
Nika's just doing his own thing. Chase down a kill. He's going to fall. He does get one. Not his intended target. But as I said, Nika should not be on the front line because his own back line is in trouble. All 4 players down. Nika's alive, but who cares?
They went for the kill to make sure they got Wlfy, and yeah, they got Wlfy, but in doing so, they still end up losing the game. RivaL will take game 1 against Mouse. A lot of fans would have expected it, but back to the drawing board we go again for Mouse here.
Tough break there for Mouse. As I said, the composition just wasn't built to really be playing defense. So we've seen a number of these teams defend time and time again and stretch out to 45 minutes. This comp was just destined to not do that. They needed to find a win, or they needed to find their footing and their positioning in the mid game. It didn't happen, so it all comes crumbling in the late.
After game 1 then, attention turns to who you think was MVP in that game, and I'm going to pose that to you because I think there could be a couple of names on that list.
I'm looking directly at Deathwalker. Sure, I think there's a lot of other names.
I was hoping you say someone else because I'm like Deathwalker.
I'm looking directly at Deathwalker, his ability to do exactly what he needed to do. But honestly, it's the combination, the support, and you might have called me slip. I called the short lane the secondary support because time and time again, we saw Geb initiate and then Deathwalker over the top with the secondary initiation. I'll give my MVP nod to Deathwalker, but it was a 1 and 2 combo of support and solo.
Well, after game 1, let's head down to the desk to break it down if you missed it, or just to make you work out where it went wrong. Tolly and Finch are standing by.
Thanks, Hindu. Thanks, Tom. It is Finch and Tolly here, going to break it down some. And I think Deathwalker's a good candidate for that MVP vote, but I don't know. Vote himself might have certainly earned it for me on that Cupid. I think he was in all those fights with him the whole way, too. Certainly a big team effort between everyone here on Run.
Playing a more utility style. Hasn't gotten a kill, but at the end of the day, 14 assists. He was at the right place at the right time. Speaking of the same, it was iceicebaby, almost with 100% kill participation. I think he was a part of 17 out of the total 18 kills that RivaL had.
Yeah, he was right there with Deathwalker every step of the way on that Erlang Shen, but Deathwalker really was, I think, far and above the one who stood out the most for me. I have to agree with Tom, and it sounds like with Mixture Chat as well, as they have selected him as the MVP there, at least from game 1. I mean, so many times he was able to dunk on multiple people. The bludgeon damage was absurd this game. I mean, and also he was releasing dragons. That's pretty cool.
That was after the first Goal Fury, that little highlight play. This was during the second Goal Fury, being able to hit 2 multiple members, and this play really was broken down more by SK than the great zoning from Deathwalker. Nika missed his pluck. It was Dardez that only hit a one-man Wrath of Terror onto Deathwalker, so couldn't really make the most effectiveness out of the Sylvanus ult.
Yeah, Bellona today just didn't have an answer to it. It was able to sort of bully out the Sobek early on and get to a point where it was very comfortable. And this is what we were highlighting a little bit going into this game, right? That we felt like it was Ice and Deathwalker that had been playing so well, and then maybe they had some struggles elsewhere. I said maybe some from Wlfy. I don't think he struggled this game. I think that Mouse made a concerted effort to try and just focus him out. Every step they could, they wanted to kill that Freya, and even then, Wlfy was still like second in player damage and fragging out.